Okie dokie, artichoke. Hello, friends. Welcome back. We're doing another episode of Kids Corner Book Talks for Kids. This one is the delayed episode from April. I will be doing another one at the end of this month at 4 p.m. on the last Friday of this month as well. So in 2 weeks I'll be doing another one, but let's talk about 5 of the new books from April that I wanted to discuss with you guys. So we're going to go through 3 nonfiction books and 2 fiction picture books today. The first one is Who Gives a Poop? Surprising Science from One End to the Other, written by Heather L. Montgomery and illustrated by Iris Gottlieb. The second one we'll talk about is An Equal Shot, How the Law Title IX Changed America, written by Helaine Becker and illustrated by Dow Fumrick. And then third, we'll talk about our favorite day of the year. This one is written by A.E. Ali and illustrated by Rahel Jomapour Bell. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Fourth, we're going to talk about, this one's cute, Mop Rides the Wave of Life, which was written by Jaimal Yogis and illustrated by Matthew Allen. And then finally, we'll do a little chat about How Does Soap Clean Your Hands? The Science Behind Healthy Habits, written by Madeline J. Hayes and illustrated by Srimali Basani. All right, so let's jump in with our first one. Who Gives a Poop? Surprising Science from One End to the Other by Heather L. Montgomery. So, do you enjoy the gross, the grotesque, and the nasty? Do bodily functions make you giggle? Because they make me giggle. And most importantly, do you want to know some of the super exciting things scientists can learn by studying poop? Because this narrative nonfiction book is for you if you answered yes to any of those questions, particularly if you answered yes to all of them. This is a nonfiction chapter book, and it is full of interesting and truly disgusting tidbits of information, like the fact that a lot of the sand on the beach is actually fish poop, or the fact that there is a South American scorpion that actually amputates its own back end, so its stinger and where it poos from, to escape predators, but it doesn't grow back, which means the scorpion then has to hold on to poo in its abdomen for the rest of its life. Or maybe the fact that it's also, there was another fact, but I can't remember what it was right now, so we're just going to move ahead. So this includes lots and lots and lots of introductory material in regards to biology and chemistry, why are plants basically solidified sunlight, what is the molecule cellulose, and where is it found on planet Earth. The answer to that question is everywhere. And is there a way to turn poop into fuel? By the way, the answer to that question is also yes. So this book has 14 chapters of wild and crazy poop facts, or frass if you're talking about insects. Yes, there is a special word for poop if you're talking about insects. And it's also got lots of cool things that scientists can learn from poop and do with it. So it includes an author's note at the end about bias in the scientific community, which I am in 100% supportive. That's a good thing to be aware of. And there are also 8 pages at the end of just wacky poop facts that didn't make it into the chapters themselves, such as the fact that dogs line up with the Earth's magnetic field when they do number 2. Also, didn't know that. Finally, there's an annotated bibliography right at the end for those of you who want to find some related material to read. So I would recommend this definitely for the 9 to 11 or up crowd. It is a relatively dense scientific nonfiction book, so there are going to be a lot of 3 and 4 syllable words and a lot of contextual clues that younger kids might miss out on without help. So if you're reading at a 5th grade level or above, I think that you'll probably be fine with this. If you're reading at a lower level, maybe get help from a friend or family member who has a higher reading level who can help you if there are words you don't know. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. That was Who Gives a Poop? Surprising Science from One End to the Other. So next, we're going to talk about An Equal Shot, How the Law Title IX Changed America, written by Helaine Becker, illustrated by Dow Fumrick. There we go, Fumrick. Okay, so Do you love sports? Because I do. Are you obsessed with swimming or soccer or football or tennis or anything like that? Do you maybe want to be an astronaut or a teacher or the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or a nurse? Because if you answered yes to any of those questions, you should know that before 1975, girls and women were not guaranteed places in any of those sports or 2 of those jobs, and men were looked down upon for taking 2 of those jobs. The answer is nurse and teacher. Those were the ones that women were let to do, but guys, it wasn't really, you know, they just wasn't really looked on favorably from most people before 1975. Not only that, women could get fired from their jobs if they got married or if they became pregnant and started a family before 1975. So this picture book explains the difference that Title IX made in the lives of girls and women and men in the United States, and it will help you recognize how far we've come and show you where we can continue to improve for girls and women in America. So this is a picture book with relatively sparse text. I'll show you an example. It doesn't have a whole lot of writing. There's like little bits where you can read the signs that people have had at marches and stuff like that, but it's usually very small blocks of text, 1 or 2 sentences maximum. Though the concepts being explored in this book are fairly advanced, so it's probably best for the K or 1st grade and up crowd. And if you are younger than that, it might be best to get an older friend or family member who can help you with contextual clues or figuring out what words, how to spell out words or how to sound out words if necessary. I personally really love the delicate, so you can see the very delicate illustrations in this book, and for me, it gets an A+ for diverse representation and the inclusion of, at the end, Title IX and you. Where are you? Here we go. For the inclusion of Title IX and you, particularly because there's more information about Patsy Mink and Shirley Chisholm in here. So some of the first women of color elected to Congress in the United States. So that's really exciting. Patty Mink was the first woman of color, period, as well as the first Asian American, and Shirley Chisholm was the first Black woman elected to Congress in the United States. So I love that they included a spread about this at the end of the book, as well as a full spread of more Title IX information at the very end. So if you're looking for more information, in particular where we can go from here, and as well as things that you can read to learn some more about this law and how it's affected America and what it was like before that, this is a really good place to look. So I super love this book, definitely for kindergarten, 1st grade probably and up, but very, very well worth it. So that is An Equal Shot, How the Law Title IX Changed America by Helaine Becker and illustrated by Dow Fumaruk. Okay, so our third one, a picture book, is our favorite day of the year. This one is so cute. So what is your favorite holiday? My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving because I was born on Thanksgiving, which means every 7 years my birthday is on Thanksgiving again, which means that year all of my family is in the house and they have to give me a birthday present because they're there on my birthday. So I love Thanksgiving. In this picture book, we are introduced to Musa, who is right here, and his teacher, Miss Gupta, who is right here, and 3 other boys, Moses, Kevin, and Mo, who will become his best friends over the course of the school year. Now, throughout the year, each of the children in the class helps the rest of the class celebrate their own favorite holiday. We learn about the Islamic holiday, Eid al-Fitr, from Musa, who is our main character up here. We learn about the Jewish holiday Rosh Hashanah from Mo, which is right here. And we learn about Las Posadas from Moses, which is right here. So Las Posadas is a Christian holiday celebrated predominantly in South and Latin America by people who practice Catholicism. So that's a holiday that is celebrated down south a lot. And then we also learn about the celebration of science on Pi Day from Kevin right here. So I would recommend this picture book for any story time with a big holiday theme, or when you're learning about world religions and celebrations. particularly because at the end there's a spread with more information about each of the holidays that we learn about in this book. There is definitely more text in this picture book than in An Equal Shot, so it's not a ton of text, but where An Equal Shot would have 1 or 2 sentences per spread, this one's got 4 or 5 sentences per spread. So if you've got a very early beginning reader, this is definitely one that I think should be, there should be some adult or older friend assistance when reading it. So I think maybe above 1st or 2nd grade should be fine to read this on their own. Otherwise, it's great for a story time for the young ones as well, as long as you can help them figure out what contextual clues and stuff are. Next up, we are going to talk about Mop Rides the Wave of Life. This book is so funny. So this is by Jaimal Yogis and illustrated by Matthew Allen. So sometimes it can be very, very difficult to stay calm when someone hurts our feelings, or maybe we're just having a really terrible day, right? And we get kind of angry, or maybe we get kind of sad and we act out. Maybe someone said something mean and you really, really, really wanted to just push them because you were so angry, or you wanted to yell, or you wanted to go sit in a corner and cry and feel really, really sorry for yourself because life just wasn't fair that day, right? Well, Mop, right here, who is called Mop because of his very big mop of hair, has days like that too. But one day, he and his mom go surfing. He goes surfing a lot. He loves surfing. But one day, they go surfing, and she helps him to understand that big feelings. Let me pull up the spread where this happens because it's really cute. So one day, they go surfing together, and she helps him understand that feelings, just like waves, can be ridden, and they can be ridden safely. They come and go, and we can learn how to have a smooth ride with our feelings instead of fighting them. So even better if we do fight them, because we're all human and we all mess up sometimes, right? If we do fight them, that's okay. Just like when you fall off of a wave, that's how you learn, right? So this is an excellent introduction to the concept of mindfulness and accepting each feeling as it arises in you. Again, very, very basic because it is a picture book, but it's a really good introduction to that, and I cannot recommend it enough. I think it can be particularly useful if you are having a hard time with tantrums maybe, or misbehavior at home or in school or with friends. But I would also say that it's just a really good picture book for an all ages story time, because we could all use a little more mindfulness in our lives, right? There are oodles of opportunity for participation with the kiddos if you're doing this with story time. So at the beginning, Mop wants to talk about the things that he really loves. He really likes climbing trees. He really likes surfing. He really likes going to school. He loves to paddle and duck dive when he surfs, and he really likes to go to school as well. So you could ask children, if you're doing story time with them, what are some things that you love to do just as much as Mop loves surfing or going to school or duck diving? Or has anyone ever called you a name or said something about you that made you really sad and angry, like Mop feels halfway through this book before he learns how to ride his feelings like he rides a wave? Or maybe you could even ask, if someone did make you really upset, how did you react before you learned how to write out your feelings? And so on and so forth. So lots and lots and lots of opportunities for participation if you read this book during a story time. And then, which I personally think is really, really sweet, but depending on the energy levels of the group that you're doing with this, if you read this book at a story time, it might be kind of fun to do 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes of mindful breathing practice and see how that goes with the kids as well, also depending on their age. Because like I said, we could all use a little more mindfulness in our lives, right? So that is Mop Rides the Waves of Life by Jaimal Yogis and illustrated by Matthew Allen. And then the last book I wanted to talk about, this one is also one of the books that was purchased through a big quest. So Discover and Liberate the Human Spirit Through Reading. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows about that because it's very sweet and we greatly appreciate it. So finally, very appropriate for the time frame, we're going to read about or talk about how to soap clean your hands. This is The Science Behind Healthy Habits, written by Madeline J. Hayes and illustrated by Srimali Basani. So, do you have lots and lots and lots of questions about things like bacteria and viruses? Like, what are they? Or how does washing your hand even help keep us safe from those things? Or what medicines is it possible to use to fight them off? Or what can we do to help prevent against getting sick in the first place? If you have any questions like that, then this is a really good book for you. Especially if you think it's funny when people look like they're dabbing, you know, this dance move right here, when people look like they're dabbing when they cough and sneeze in public, because this book explains that they're not dabbing. That's how you're supposed to cough and sneeze in public when you don't have a mask on. And it's just really cute. So this is the nonfiction picture book for you if those are things that you have questions about, and or if you think people dabbing when they cough in public looks funny. So from why and when and how to wash your hands, to how viruses spread, and things like what you can and can't control when it comes to getting sick from viruses. This book is an excellent introduction to germ theory and healthy habits for the younger crowd. So I would recommend it if you're school age, so probably first grade and up, particularly if you are learning about human biology and germs in school or at home right now. There are lots of fun illustrations. I'm going to show you the dab page. Like, look, there's a kid dabbing right here to illustrate that you're supposed to cough in your elbow in public. And I just think that's so funny. So there's lots of fun illustrations and little factoids spread everywhere. So we have like base text explaining the theme of each spread, and then we've got little factoids spread throughout. So it's pretty fun, as well as at the end, a fun experiment that you can do at home or in the classroom to learn about how soap works. And then the next page is, or the next spread is information about nutrition and how that can help our bodies keep themselves healthy and help prevent us from becoming sick, as well as a recipe for a nutritional smoothie. So there's also a full glossary at the very end if there are any words in the book that are giving you a hard time. So I highly recommend this for, again, the school age crowd, definitely first grade and up, maybe even second or third grade, depending on your reading level, but it is a good thing to read with younger kids as well, as long as you can help them figure out what's going on through context and help them sound out words and stuff. So those are the 5 new books from April. Again, we had How to Soap Clean Your Hands, The Science Behind Healthy Habits. We had Mop Rides the Waves of Life, the book on mindfulness. We had our favorite day of the year, a book celebrating diversity in religion and world culture. We had An Equal Shot, How the Law Title IX Changed America, all about Title IX and what it did for women and girls in the United States. And Who Gives a Poop? Surprising science from one end to the other, all about learning the things that scientists can learn from and do with poop. So I hope you enjoyed learning about some of the books that are available for checkout in the children's library. These are all new as of April. I am going to go ahead and do another episode of this for books that are new for this month on the last Friday of May at 4 p.m. here on Facebook Live. So you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.